Alright everyone, I know it's been a while, but it's finally time for another Legend video. Now I know that 100% of you have either played Ocarina of Time or heard of it. And if you're a fan of Zelda, you probably have nothing negative to say about it. It was the first 3D Zelda game made and considered by most to be the best or one of the best Zelda games. It defined the N64 as a console and redefined Zelda as a franchise. Now, being the first game in a series to make the jump to 3D has its advantages and disadvantages. For one, it gives the game a new set of play mechanics, but on the other hand, it makes it have an unfair amount of hype. For example, in the case of the Mario series, the transition from 2D to 3D was flawless, unlike another beloved franchise. In any case, Ocarina of Time could have been a bad game, but thankfully, the people who made it knew what they were doing. It won the Game of the Year in 1998 and holds a special place in most gamers' hearts. That's enough with my broad statements. Let's look into the game and see what makes it so great. The game has a very great storyline, which makes for a very enjoyable playthrough. And even though I'm sure everyone knows the story, I think I should talk about it in some degree. Now, before I talk about the game in any more depth, I want to warn you that there may be spoilers for people who have not played the game. So, if you don't want to be spoiled, stop watching. The game begins with our protagonist, sleeping, like so many others. But I've already talked about this, so let's now look into Navi the Fairy, the first companion character for Link. Her role in the story is to be annoying. No, I'm kidding. I don't see why people whine so much about Navi, when she isn't that annoying. I don't know what everyone's complaining about.
Hello? Hey, you! Listen!
I don't see it. But anyway, Navi tells you what you need to do and where you need to go, which is really helpful for a person's first playthrough. But for a second, third, or for people like me, 15th playthrough, her information can be a little annoying. But that doesn't mean I don't like her. With her help, you defeat the evil Goma, which was part of a curse put on the Great Deku Tree by Ganondorf. But killing Goma wasn't enough to break the curse, causing the Great Deku Tree to wilt and die. But before he dies, he tells Link his destiny to save the world, and Link embarks on an epic quest. But not before getting an ocarina. And no, this isn't the Ocarina of Time like the game, it's the Fairy Ocarina. Yeah, I didn't know what an ocarina was before this game either. Well, once you run away from that awkward situation, you go to Hyrule Field, where you meet the owl, whose name I can't pronounce, because I know someone's gonna tell me it's wrong, and to be honest, I don't think anyone knows how to pronounce this name. He, like Navi, is here to tell you information that, even if you haven't played the game, you should already know, like you're on your way to the castle. Once you get to Hyrule Castle Town, you'll notice that there's a bunch of shit going on, and really, it's pretty interesting. But compared to the new Hyrule Castle Town, it's a little lackluster. But back then, it was awesome, and to be honest, it still is. Now, when you get to Hyrule Castle, the owl will be there again, so you'll want to leave. But you can't, you have to listen to him talk. He pretty much tells you that in places like Hyrule Field and Hyrule Castle, time moves regularly, while places like Kakariko Village, Lon Lon Ranch, and Hyrule Castle Town, the time stays still, pretty much saying that it won't change from day to night when you're in town. Now here's some information that people with their first playthrough will not know, and I've actually encountered people saying this is what stopped them from beating the game, which really is sad, but I can understand. The thing that kept them from progressing was not knowing that you have to talk to Malin to get an egg, wait till it to hatch, and then wake up Talon with it. So, yeah, that's what you gotta do. Once you do that, you have to move the crates so you can get to Princess Zelda. Getting past the guards is pretty easy, but if you haven't played again, it can be a little tricky. Although the only person who I've actually encountered to have trouble with this part was my 5-year-old cousin, so yeah. Anyway, once you talk to Princess Zelda, that's when the game really starts. You meet the main antagonist, Ganondorf, and you learn your first song on the Ocarina, Zelda's Lullaby, which really is a big key to a bunch of places in the game. But I really don't want to spoil any other information like I already have. So I'll just say this. The rest of the game is really fun. And I encourage anyone who hasn't played the game to play it. And I think the easiest way to play it is to download it on the Wii's Virtual Console for $10. It's well worth it. It's a great game. And thank you for watching my look into Ocarina of Time. And now I bet you're wondering what the next game review will be about.